Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullahu khair for tuning in to another episode of Ridwanullah TV, your source for Islamic personal and professional development. I'm your host and transformer, Hussein Muhammad, working to help you transform the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in every area of your life in this dunya and in the akhirah by the grace, will, and for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about maximized wealth. How to maximize your wealth within the boundaries, rules, and regulations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How to earn a halal income, how to, find a halal job, how to start a halal business and start a halal, engage in halal investments, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. But before I dive into that, all praise and thanks are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our creator, owner, and sustainer, the one worthy of all worship without any partners or associates or intermediaries. And may the peace and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon the most esteemed leader and most honorable teacher, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, his family, his companions, and those who follow him until the day of judgment. Allahumma ameen. The question that I have for you guys today is, are you aware of your money? Are you in control of your money? Are you a slave to money, or is money slave to you? Where do you fall in that spectrum, in those categories, is a really, really good question that we should be asking ourselves, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So for me, the reason why I'm bringing this up is we need to be able to be individuals, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows, that earn maximized wealth, that has, abundant of money in a way that is within the boundaries, rules, and regulations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and in a way that does not distract us from, living the life that we want to live, worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the way that we want to worship, not being a slave to other people's decisions, and not being controlled in one way or the other, because of our economic status and whatever else it may be. So in this particular episode, I really want you to get a complete picture of where your finances are or is. So it's important for us. And this, as you could tell, this is not a topic that I love to talk about, even though on a private level, I love to be able to coach people on it. There's a lot of insecurities around money. There's a lot of, to a large extent or whatever extent, abundance or lack thereof, depending on your perspective and your view, and who you're comparing yourself to, you know what I mean, in terms of what you're earning, how you're earning it, and so forth and so on. So, what I want to be able to achieve in this maximized wealth episode and sessions that we'll continue to do on a weekly basis, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, is just to kind of create a little bit more awareness of our financial situation, especially with ourselves, whether we work for a company, whether we're leading a company, whether we're self-employed, whether we own a business, whether we have investments, or all 4 or 5, whatever it may be. It's important for us to be able to put in the work to understand and realize where our financial situation is and how to be able to incrementally and geometrically maximize it by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I'm 100% sure there's a lot of people who are watching this video that make a lot more money than I do at this particular point. And there's some people in this video that make a lot less money than I do in this particular point. And as the future continues on, only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows, who's making how much and how much, like where your financial situation is. But a couple of things that I want to put in your mind is, make sure that the number one thing, I'll just give you a couple of tips and then I'll be checking out bi'idhnillahi ta'ala so we can have a little bit more structure. This is just the beginning. I just want to be able to plant some seeds in your mind that inshallah in the near future will grow. The two question is, it really is not even how much money you have. It's really about your financial emotional state. Are you in financial peace or are you in financial distress? You know what I mean? Like, are you living paycheck to paycheck basically like we all are, majority of us? Or are you in control of your money? Now, some people who have a lot of money could be a slave to money as well, because all they're doing is thinking about, worrying about making money and building money. And some people that have, sufficient amount are content and happy. They're not complacent, but they're happy with where they are and they're working hard to be where they want to be. And, just a few things to keep in mind that are very, very important as a foundation of financial success for our ummah and as Muslims, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, is number one, you really have to look at, did you pay, is zakah due upon you, right? Did you meet the level of nisab and the level of assets that is required, net worth that is required for you to be able to pay your zakah? Once you're, and for me, as I continue to dig deeper into this financial world and be able to understand it properly and be able to, utilize it in the best way, and not only just know it psychologically, but also behaviorally, being able to, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, make sure that my mindset my behavior matches my mindset, and so forth and so on. So what I was trying to say is, we really have to know our nisab. We really have to be able to know if we have $1,000 emergency fund or not, which is very important. The other foundation is, are we in debt? Do we have to pay debt? The other foundation is, do we have, are we over break even? You know what I mean? Is our income above break even? And the other thing is, do we have at least 3 to 6 months of savings? Have we been to Umrah? Have we been to Hajj? So forth and so on. So those are some things that I wanted to plant in your mind, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, for now, in terms of basic financial foundations and how to kind of go about it. There's a lot more to it, such as budgeting, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, which I'll be discussing in the future videos. So this is going to be very, very, very valuable, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, for all of us. And I hope that you could benefit from it as well as myself. Leave it on the comment below, subscribe, and bi'idhnillah, let me know what's going on.